You're a rock star and you're a heartthrob. Is that true to say?
Jared Leto.
Requiem for a Dream.
Requiem for a Dream.
I'm Jared Leto. Jaredleto.
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
How about Jared Leto? Yeah, Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto. Please welcome back Jared Leto.
He's an artist in many, many ways. And you probably know him best for his acting, where he's been in movies like Fight Club, American Psycho, Requiem for a Dream.
What's the Jared Leto secret?
The Golden Globe goes to Jared Leto.
And the actor goes to Jared Leto. And the Oscar goes to Jared Leto.
Oh, no questions. Okay, thanks, guys. I hit my bedtime now.
Incredible.
In Hollywood, there are different types of actors. Those with undeniable aura, those with no haters, those with prestige, and those who are box office draws. But there's one category no one wants to belong to: cursed actors. The kind of name on a poster that scares audiences away. The kind of name that feels like a guarantee of box office failure. And today, that actor is Jared Leto. But how did he go from being a rising talent in Requiem for a Dream to the meme-worthy figure we see today? His filmography is incredibly diverse, so let's take a look at how that evolution happened. And more importantly, does he really deserve that reputation? Suicide Squad was a failure. His Joker didn't scare anyone. Morbius lost millions. His character became a joke and even undermined his involvement in the return of Blade. And now the Tron franchise seems doomed to wait another 20 years for a new installment after its failure. This is the reality of Jared Leto today. But it wasn't always like this. So let's go back to the beginning to understand what really happened. His unstable acting career seems to mirror his own life. Jared Joseph Leto was born on December 26, 1971, and grew up in a family of artists, musicians, photographers, and theater actors. He was raised by his mother, and during his teenage years, he lived in at least 12 different places. He was always the new kid, which made adapting to new roles come naturally to him as an actor. After graduating from Emerson Preparatory School in Washington, D.C., he attended the University of the Arts in Philadelphia, where he studied visual arts and specialized in painting.
I was in university studying to be a painter, an artist, and I started getting interested in photography and then in film.
Shortly after, he moved to New York City and enrolled in the School of Visual Arts, studying filmmaking. Finally, in 1992, he made the move every aspiring actor dreams of: Los Angeles, California. At just 20 years old, he began searching for his first opportunities, although his original goal was to work behind the camera. After landing minor roles in TV series, he got his first major break with a leading role in My So-Called Life, portraying the classic, unattainable cool guy of the 90s. His film debut came with Cool and the Crazy, a direct-to-VHS release where he only appeared for a few minutes. Though somewhat misleadingly, he was later featured on the cover after gaining fame. His true big-screen debut with proper credits came in How to Make an American Quilt, where he doesn't even share a scene with Winona Ryder in a romantic drama. By the age of 26, he landed his first leading role in Prefontaine, a biographical drama about Olympic runner Steve Prefontaine. For the role, Leto immersed himself in the athlete's life, studying his family, his friends, even adapting his voice and physicality. The transformation was so convincing that Prefontaine's sister was moved to tears upon seeing him. His performance received strong critical praise. However, at the same time, another very similar film was released, Without Limits, also about an American runner, which ended up receiving more attention and better reviews. Up to this point, his story feels like that of almost any Hollywood actor. He started in TV series, appeared in a direct-to-VHS film, landed a supporting role alongside a major star, and then moved on to a leading role on the big screen. By this time, Jared Leto was already considered a teen idol. His physical appearance helped him build a strong female fan base, and he was even included among the 50 most beautiful people in 1996. During this period, that image played a big role in helping him land roles in high-profile films. He appeared in The Thin Red Line, Fight Club, Girl, Interrupted, and American Psycho, always in supporting roles alongside major stars. From the outside, everything seemed to be going perfectly for young Jared. Fame, money, and even dating Cameron Diaz, widely considered one of the most beautiful women of the 90s, alongside Angelina Jolie. But something was still missing. He felt incomplete, and he went through the same phase many great actors have faced. That barrier in Hollywood that's so hard to break. Leonardo DiCaprio went through it. Brad Pitt did too. They wanted recognition for their acting, not just their looks. That's why, in 2000, he took on the role that would become the peak of his acting career. The one many still point to as the beginning of the actor he could have been, but ultimately wasn't. A film as intense and unconventional as its director, Requiem for a Dream. This role demanded everything from Jared Leto. He had to portray a drug addict, and he took his preparation to the extreme. Living on the streets of New York, losing 30 pounds, spending time with real addicts, distancing himself from his girlfriend for 2 months. He never admitted it, but with such an intense method approach, it's not hard to imagine he may have experimented with substances. And while the film became a cult classic, the Academy overlooked his performance entirely. Despite his dedication, he didn't receive a single nomination. His co-star Ellen Burstyn, however, did receive recognition. Financially, he was paid only $50,000, as the film had a modest $4 million budget. The role stayed with him for a long time. He even traveled to a monastery in Portugal to recover, both physically and mentally. His next projects were more restrained performances: Highway, Panic Room. At the same time, he shifted more focus to his other artistic passion, music. 30 Seconds to Mars started as a family project with his brother Shannon, but after signing with Virgin Records and adding new members, the band achieved moderate success, with several songs charting on Billboard. His relationship with Cameron Diaz ended in 2003, and around this time, his acting career began to stall, taking smaller roles, albeit in solid films like Alexander, Lord of War, Lonely Hearts, and Chapter 27. In that last film, Leto once again gave everything, this time gaining over 50 pounds to portray the man who murdered John Lennon. The preparation was extreme, but the film was poorly received and underperformed at the box office. 2 years later, he took the lead in Mr. Nobody, a futuristic sci-fi film where he plays the last mortal human at 118 years old. But the film had a limited release and remained niche, especially in the US, as it was mostly distributed in Europe, ultimately losing around $30 million. Over time, however, it gained the recognition it deserved.
Smoke, never go back into the cigarette. Why do molecules spread away from each other? That is the principle of entropy, the tendency of the universe to evolve toward a state of increasing disorder.
By this point in his career, Jared Leto had built a reputation as the actor who takes on strange roles in obscure films. And here, a clear pattern emerges, a constant pursuit of recognition that never quite comes. He was sought after by cult directors, but for major Hollywood studios, he was still just that good-looking supporting actor. So he decided to step away from film and focus on his music career. But his return was huge. 2013, he took on the role of Rayon in Dallas Buyers Club, another niche film with a budget of just $5 million. Here, he plays a transgender woman living with an illness in the oppressive environment of the 1980s. His preparation was extreme. He lost a significant amount of weight and stayed in character for long periods, even refusing to be called by his real name. But this time, the effort paid off. He won the Academy Award, the Screen Actors Guild Award, and the Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actor. He had finally achieved what he had been chasing all along: recognition, awards, validation. And yet, despite all of that, the spotlight belonged to Matthew McConaughey. Once again, Leto stepped away from acting. It seemed like this time he would be more selective with his roles, carefully choosing projects to guide his career towards stronger leading performances. Over the next 3 years, without appearing in films, he returned to touring with his band and focused on smaller creative projects: stage work, documentaries, and directing.
I've been working on that, transporting myself through space and time.
And here begins what is perhaps his most controversial phase, the one that ultimately solidified his curse. In 2016, expectations were high when it was announced that he would play a new version of the Joker in a major Warner Brothers production. It was his first step into the superhero world. But this marked the beginning of his downfall. His Joker received heavy criticism for its visual style, and although the film was a box office success, it was buried by negative reviews. His performance was seen as controversial and superficial, focused more on appearance than character development. And of course, comparisons to Heath Ledger's iconic portrayal in The Dark Knight only made things worse, leaving Leto far behind. What many people don't know is that a large portion of his scenes were cut from the final version, leaving him with very little screen time and a poorly developed character. As a result, his performance felt disconnected and incomplete. Still, most of the backlash came from comic book fans who rejected the modern gangster aesthetic. This was the true beginning of his reputation online. That said, this kind of situation has happened to many actors in the superhero genre: George Clooney, Val Kilmer, Jamie Foxx, Andrew Garfield. The next role is always the one that defines your career. You either sink or rise again. After a small role in Blade Runner 2049, Leto took a supporting role in House of Gucci, directed by Ridley Scott, and alongside major stars like Robert De Niro, Salma Hayek, and Jeremy Irons. His physical transformation made him almost unrecognizable, thanks to heavy prosthetics and makeup. However, his performance was widely criticized, not just for limited screen time, but for his exaggerated Italian accent and for feeling out of place within the film's more serious tone. He was even nominated for a Razzie Award for Worst Performance that year.
You ripped my heart out. You left it to die in the street. Oh my God, my wife.
Just a year later came what many consider the worst film of his career, Morbius. Another nail in the coffin and a massive source of internet memes. Not only did the film feature one of the weakest scripts in the superhero genre, but it also reinforced his curse. The movie became the target of endless jokes, parodies, Golden Raspberry nominations, and harsh criticism.
Isolated. Breathe.
It's morphin' time.
In an unusual move, after its initial failure, Sony attempted to capitalize on the meme-driven attention by re-releasing it in theaters, only for it to flop again. For months, it held some of the lowest scores for a Marvel-related film, until, somewhat ironically, audiences began to embrace it as an unintentional comedy. Reviews eventually turned more positive, and that dubious spot was later taken by Madam Web.
Who the hell are you, Matt?
I am Venom.
It's often said that to land a major Disney project, actors sometimes have to accept smaller roles first. That was the case with Haunted Mansion, a supernatural horror comedy where, as usual, Leto was given one of the strangest roles: playing a supernatural villain so heavily covered in CGI that many viewers didn't even realize it was him. He only appears for about 5 minutes. Still, it helped him secure his next project, the lead role in Tron Ares. By this point, fans were already skeptical and didn't want him involved in Tron, a cult franchise with a dedicated fan base waiting years for a new installment. And once again, the curse seemed to strike. The film underperformed at the box office and received multiple criticisms, not so much for Leto's performance, which was described as flat and emotionless, understandable since he plays a computer program, but for creative decisions behind the scenes. As a producer, Leto reportedly required himself to be the lead and pushed aside a script developed by Joseph Kosinski after Tron Legacy. Even so, it's possible that without Jared Leto, Tron might have never returned at all.
I'm a Tron superfan. It's not an overstatement to say Tron changed my life. It captured my imagination in a way that few films ever have. We've been working on this for 9 years. What's been really cool is taking Tron into the real world.
Now, on Jared Leto's cursed path, there's another highly anticipated project ahead, Masters of the Universe, a remake of the beloved 80s classic. And as usual, he's taking on the strange role, Skeletor, the main villain. Many fans are hoping the film won't fall into the seemingly inevitable fate that follows whenever Jared Leto's name appears on the poster. So what do you think? Is this reputation fair? Does Jared Leto deserve more respect for his work? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.